You could feel it, man. That pin drop tension in the Senate room. It's that kind of silence that hits right before a storm breaks loose. Cameras rolling, senators straight-faced, staffers pretending not to blink. Everyone could tell something was about to go down. But nobody in that room, and I mean nobody, saw what was coming for Kash Patel. The guy walks in like he owns the joint. Cool, confident, that half-smirk politicians wear when they think they've got the upper hand. His suit crisp, his notes tight. You could almost hear the unspoken line in his head. Yeah, I got this. But see, here's the thing. This wasn't some cable talk show. This was the United States Senate. And across the table sat Senator Amy Klobuchar. Calm, collected, but with that look that says, I already know where this is going. If you've seen her in action before, you know that look means someone's about to get legally roasted. The room's packed. Cameras panning, aides whispering, flashbulbs going off like fireflies. The buzz in the air is electric, like a boxing match right before the first bell. Patel's got his talking points ready, the usual political playbook nonsense, smile, deflect, pivot, repeat. But Klobuchar's sitting there quiet, flipping through her notes with that lawyer's precision. You can tell she's not here to make noise. She's here to make a point. She leans back, watching him talk, letting him dig his own hole. Every senator on that panel knows the rhythm. They give you rope, and you either climb or hang yourself with it. Patel, confident as ever, starts running through his opening statement. He's talking in circles, throwing in those buzzwords: transparency, accountability, respect for the process. You can almost hear the political autopilot humming. Meanwhile, Klobuchar doesn't interrupt once, not a single time. Just sits there, pen tapping on the table, eyes locked on him. That's her tell. The pen tap. It's not nervousness. It's the sound of someone loading the facts like bullets. You can practically see the ammo piling up in her notes. The tension's climbing second by second. You got senators shifting in their chairs, aides exchanging looks like, this is about to get spicy. Even Patel's starting to sense it. That vibe in the room when confidence starts to crack. His tone gets a little sharper, words a little faster. He's trying to stay ahead of something he doesn't even see yet. And that's when you realize Klobuchar's not responding because she's setting the trap. Every word he says, every claim he makes, every number he drops, she's locking it all in. It's the calm before the verbal ambush. Now picture this. The camera cuts to Klobuchar, finally leaning forward, elbows on the table, voice low but steady. She starts with that senator tone. Polite, almost too polite, but every syllable carries weight. It's the sound of someone who's about to dismantle your entire argument, piece by piece, without ever raising her voice. Patel smiles, thinking it's routine. Maybe he even thinks she's tossing him softball questions. But the room can feel it, that shift. Her tone changes just a hair, her phrasing gets tighter, and that's when everyone watching, live, online, in the chamber, knows the gloves just came off. She asks the kind of question that sounds simple, but slices deep. It's surgical. You can almost hear the producers in newsrooms across the country whispering, "Oh, this clip's gonna blow up." The man tries to hold his ground, gives a long-winded answer, circles the drain of his own defense, but Klobuchar's not blinking. She's tracking every dodge like a hawk. The quiet turns heavy. You can feel people holding their breath. Staffers pretending to look at notes, reporters pausing mid-type. It's that DC silence, the one that hits right before someone's career takes a hit. Patel shifts in his seat, clears his throat. That trademark confidence? Gone. Replaced by the kind of unease that even C-SPAN can't edit out. And that's when it hits. This moment isn't about noise or drama. It's about control. Klobuchar has it, Patel doesn't. It's the courtroom energy she's known for. Methodical, relentless, but clean. No shouting, no theatrics, just precision. The longer it goes, the tighter it feels. Every question she drops lands heavier than the last. You can almost hear the internal panic, the staffer behind him thinking, "Oh, we're in trouble." This isn't a debate anymore. It's an exposure, a slow public unmasking, and the entire Senate chamber feels it. You got senators leaning forward, you got aides frozen mid-scribble. Everyone's watching a pro do what she does best, dismantle a narrative with calm precision. And just when it feels like the tension can't stretch another second, she stops. No big finale, no dramatic pause, just silence. The kind of silence that makes the air thick. Klobuchar glances down at her notes, caps her pen, and gives the faintest smirk. The trap's closed. You can see it in Patel's eyes. He knows it too. He's been outmaneuvered. The calm before the clash has ended, and the real heat's about to begin. Because right after this quiet comes the fire. The part where Klobuchar stops holding back and starts drilling him down, line by line. So buckle up, because what's coming next isn't politics as usual. It's a full-blown demolition.
Boom. First question lands like a jab straight to the jaw. Klobuchar's not here for chit-chat. She's here to corner Kash Patel and make him squirm. You can feel that DC energy shift the second she opens her mouth. Her tone? Calm. Razor sharp. Her words? Clean. Precise. Like she's cutting through excuses with a surgical blade. This isn't a debate. This is a slow, methodical takedown wrapped in polite Senate language. Patel leans forward, trying to keep that confident smirk, but the moment she fires the first line, that swagger starts to fade. She's not raising her voice, not grandstanding for the cameras. She's doing something way scarier. She's controlling the tempo. Every question she asks has weight behind it, like she's building a rhythm he can't match. You can tell she's been doing this for years. This ain't her first rodeo. The room's watching, dead quiet except for her voice. You hear that smooth, practiced tone, firm but not aggressive, calm but cutting. That's her power move. She doesn't yell, she lets her logic do the shouting. And man, it hits hard. She leans in just slightly, eyes locked on him, body language screaming authority. Every senator in that room knows what's happening. She's tightening the rope, one fact at a time. Patel tries to pivot, throws in some standard DC spin. Well, Senator, with all due respect. But Klobuchar doesn't blink. She hits him with a follow-up faster than he can breathe. It's not even a question anymore. It's a statement wearing a question mark. So you're saying you didn't know, even though your signature's right there? Boom. Another jab. You can almost hear the collective wince from the staffers behind him. She's moving smooth, keeping her tone low, never losing that lawyer composure. It's the art of controlled aggression. The power isn't in shouting. It's in knowing exactly how to make someone unravel while you're sitting perfectly still. She doesn't flinch, doesn't pause. She just keeps firing those precision shots. Each one lands, and Patel's body language starts to give him away. The confident posture turns stiff. The hand that was resting easy on the table starts fidgeting. He shifts in his chair. His eyes dart toward his notes, looking for a lifeline that isn't there. Klobuchar notices. Of course she does. She's been reading witnesses like open books before half this room was in politics. She adjusts her glasses, tilts her head slightly, and drops another line. So help me understand, Mr. Patel, how exactly does that add up? It's polite on paper, but in that room, it's lethal. You can practically feel the air getting thinner. Patel answers, but his tones crack just a bit. That steady rhythm he walked in with? Gone. His sentences are longer now, his words less sure. He's explaining too much, talking too fast. You can see Klobuchar listening, nodding slowly, the tiniest smile on her face. Not a grin, not mockery, just quiet satisfaction. Because she knows the more he talks, the deeper he digs. And while he's talking, she's already prepping her next hit. That's the thing about pros like Klobuchar. They don't play defense. She waits for the perfect opening and strikes clean. Her next line slices through the air. Mr. Patel, with all your experience, are you seriously asking us to believe that you missed that memo? Boom. Another jab. You can almost hear the collective wince from the staffers behind him. She's moving smooth, keeping her tone low, never losing that lawyer composure. It's the art of controlled aggression. The power isn't in shouting. It's in knowing exactly how to make someone unravel while you're sitting perfectly still. She doesn't flinch, doesn't pause. She just keeps firing those precision shots. Each one lands, and Patel's body language starts to give him away.
The confident posture turns stiff. The hand that was resting easy on the table starts fidgeting. He shifts in his chair.
His eyes dart toward his notes, looking for a lifeline that isn't there. Klobuchar notices. Of course she does. She's been reading witnesses like open books since before half this room was in politics. She adjusts her glasses, tilts her head slightly, and drops another line. So help me understand, Mr. Patel, how exactly does that add up? It's polite on paper, but in that room, it's lethal. You can practically feel the air getting thinner. Patel answers, but his tone's cracked just a bit. That steady rhythm he walked in with? Gone. His sentences are longer now, his words less sure. He's explaining too much, talking too fast. You can see Klobuchar listening, nodding slowly, the tiniest smile on her face. Not a grin, not mockery, just quiet satisfaction. Because she knows, the more he talks, the deeper he digs. And while he's talking, she's already prepping her next hit. That's the thing about pros like Klobuchar. They don't play defense. She waits for the perfect opening and strikes clean. Her next line slices through the air. Mr. Patel, with all your experience, are you seriously asking us to believe that you missed that memo? Boom. The crowd shifts. The tone in the room changes. This isn't a conversation anymore. It's a cross-examination. Patel tries to smile, but it's forced now. He's glancing around like maybe someone's going to save him, maybe one of his allies will jump in. But nobody does. Not this time. The senators beside her are just watching, quietly impressed. Even the camera operators are locked in, zooming closer on Patel's face because they know this clip's going viral by dinner. You can see it happening in real time. That slow unraveling that only happens when someone realizes they've lost control of the room. Klobuchar doesn't need to gloat, her silence does the talking. She lets him hang on his own words just long enough for the audience to feel the awkwardness. She sits back, takes a sip of water, doesn't even look at him right away. That's power. That's confidence. That's the calm of someone who knows the next move before her opponent even breathes. And here's where it gets brutal. She circles back. The same question, rephrased, sharper, tighter. So again, Mr. Patel, just to be clear, you're saying you had no idea this happened under your supervision? The tone's polite, but the trap's already sprung. He's cornered. Answer one way, and he admits failure. Answer the other, and he contradicts his own statement from 5 minutes ago. You can almost hear the muffled whispers from the staffers behind the committee table, that quiet, oh damn moment that spreads across the room. It's not chaos, it's controlled destruction. Klobuchar just keeps her eyes locked, her pen tapping slowly like a metronome marking the beat of his unraveling. The longer it goes, the heavier it feels. Patel's answers start looping, repeating the same lines, like he's hoping the repetition will make it sound true. But Klobuchar is already 5 steps ahead. She knows how to make silence work for her. She pauses between questions, not too long, just enough for that tension to build. And man, does it build. Even the viewers at home can feel it through the screen, that creeping awkwardness, the kind that makes you lean closer, waiting to see how bad it gets. Because everyone watching knows it's only a matter of time before he cracks. And that's the thing. It's not the yelling that kills you in these hearings. It's the quiet precision. Klobuchar doesn't need volume, she's got presence. And Patel? He's running out of words, out of patience, out of room to hide. But here's where it gets awkward real fast. He starts stumbling, the silence getting louder with every word he fumbles. And that silence, it's about to say more than any question ever could.
You ever seen someone trying to talk their way out of quicksand? That's Patel right now. The second Klobuchar tightens the leash, you can feel the shift. His voice wavers just enough to tell you. The man's rattled. He's trying to stay composed, but it's like watching someone sink inch by inch, and every word he says just drags him deeper. The confidence from earlier? Gone. The smirk? Fading. All that's left is a guy realizing he's not winning this round. He starts dodging, pulling those old DC moves, the, "Well, Senator, what I meant was," lines that every political witness uses when they're in trouble. But Klobuchar's not buying it, and neither is the room. The silence between her questions feels like a trap itself. She lets him talk, waits for him to dig another inch, and then drops a quiet follow-up that slices through his defense like glass. The man's sweating facts he can't back up, and everyone in the chamber knows it. Cameras zoom closer. You can almost see the heat on his face under those Senate lights. His hand shifts to his collar, his eyes dart toward his notes, and for the first time, you catch that flicker of panic. He's trying to steady himself, but it's like his brain's buffering mid-sentence. Words come out twisted, half corrected, half forgotten. It's messy. And the more he tries to sound confident, the less he actually does. Klobuchar just sits there, calm as ever, pen tapping lightly, that little metronome of pressure ticking down in front of him. She's not interrupting. She doesn't have to. Her silence says it all. Go on, keep talking. I'm just collecting the contradictions. That's her game. She doesn't fight for airtime. She weaponizes patience. The senators around her start leaning forward. The aides behind him, they look like they'd rather vanish into the carpet. You can read it on their faces, that mix of, "Oh no, he didn't just say that," and "We're going to have to clean this up later." Even the camera operator probably feels the secondhand tension. Patel tries to smile through it, forcing a chuckle, hoping to diffuse the heat, but the sound barely lands. It's awkward, the kind of laugh people use when they know they're cooked. Klobuchar gives a polite nod, then flips a page in her folder. That's the Senate version of pulling the pin on a grenade. She starts quoting his own words back to him, line by line, like receipts. And man, you can see him unraveling. Every time she cites a statement, he fumbles for a response. First it's denial, then deflection, then that desperate half answer that just makes it worse. It's textbook political panic, trying to sound firm when you've already lost your footing. His tone rises a notch. His words spill faster. It's not authority anymore, it's survival. You can tell he's thinking, if I just keep talking, maybe I can talk my way out of this. But he can't, because Klobuchar is not just questioning him, she's building a record. Every time he tries to pivot, she brings him right back, calmly, precisely. "Mr. Patel, that's not what I asked." Boom. A simple sentence, but it lands like a hammer. The tension in that room is unreal. The air's thick enough to slice. You hear pens stop clicking, whispers die out. It's like everyone knows they're witnessing one of those viral political moments, the kind that'll be replayed on every channel by nightfall. Klobuchar's face doesn't move. She's locked in. Patel's trying to stay steady, but his eyes keep darting, his hands keep adjusting his mic. You can read it in his body language. He's done. She asks him about timelines, specific dates, and you can tell he's lost track. He stumbles on details he should have had memorized. I believe that was early March? No, maybe April. That's it. One hesitation, and the audience feels it. That's blood in the water. Klobuchar smells it too. She gives that small, knowing nod, not mockery, just confirmation. She's got him exactly where she wants him. And then she pauses, lets him hang in that silence. 5 seconds. 10. Feels like an eternity. You can almost hear the room breathing, waiting for the next strike. And when she finally speaks, it's soft, almost too soft. That's what makes it hit harder. She says, "So you're asking us to believe you didn't know, even though you signed off on it personally?" Boom. The entire mood shifts. Patel's done talking. His lips move, but nothing comes out right. He tries to recover, starts a sentence, stops, then stammers something half-baked about oversight. But the damage is done. Every attempt to explain himself just makes the silence afterwards heavier. It's the sound of credibility collapsing. Meanwhile, Klobuchar stays perfectly still. She lets the weight of his failure fill the space. That's the thing about her. She doesn't need to crush you with volume. She lets your own words bury you. It's elegant, brutal, and impossible to look away from. And man, watching Patel in that seat, you can feel the discomfort radiating through the screen, the kind that makes you shift in your chair just watching. His posture's gone defensive, his tone nervous. You can tell he's waiting for her to move on, to throw him a lifeline. But she doesn't. Not yet. She's making a point. He finally finishes another long, rambling answer, and for a split second he thinks he's bought himself a break. But Klobuchar just raises an eyebrow, looks him dead in the eye, and says, "That's interesting, because that's not what you said last week." Boom. Silence again. You can practically hear the crowd holding their breath. This is no longer a hearing. It's a public unraveling. Patel came in thinking he could talk circles around her, but now he's the one spinning, and Klobuchar is just watching him twist himself into knots. And as the moment stretches, the camera lingers on his face, the realization settling in. He's not winning this. He's not even surviving it. The whole thing is slipping one answer at a time. But Klobuchar is not done, not even close, because right after this, she's about to drop the line that turns the entire room upside down.
This is the moment, the line that blew up every feed in DC and left Kash Patel with no comeback. You could feel it before it even landed, that split second of stillness when everyone in the room knows something huge is about to drop. Klobuchar leans forward, no theatrics, no shouting, just calm precision. Her voice is steady, her words clear as glass. And then she says it, the line that flips the whole script. Boom, that's a verbal knockout. Clean hit, no confusion, no spin, just one fact so sharp it slices through every defense Patel had left. The look on his face says it all. Eyes blink twice, mouth opens, but nothing comes out. He tries to find footing, tries to speak, but he's got nowhere to go. That's the kind of hit you don't recover from, not in politics, not in public. The sound in the room changes. No one breathes, no one blinks. It's like time freezes for that half second where power shifts from one side of the table to the other. Klobuchar just sits back slightly, pen still in hand, eyes locked on him. She's not gloating. She doesn't need to. The facts just did the talking for her. Cameras catch everything. That micro-expression on Patel's face, the slight wince, the stiff smile trying to form but dying halfway. You can almost hear his brain scrambling for a response that won't make it worse. But there's nothing left to say. Every comeback, every rehearsed line, every political talking point, gone. The room's tension turns electric. Even the aides behind him look down at their papers like maybe if they don't move, they won't be caught in the blast radius. Klobuchar doesn't move, doesn't even blink. That's her game, the stillness of confidence. She knows the clip's already writing itself. The reporters in the back are already typing that headline in their heads. Klobuchar destroys Patel in fiery exchange. Because that's what this was, controlled fire. No yelling, no chaos, just precision destruction. And the timing of it, perfect. She drops the line right after he tries to double back on his own statement, cornering himself without even realizing it. You can see it coming. He tries to correct himself mid-sentence, but Klobuchar is already locked and loaded. She hits him with the quote, word for word from his previous testimony, and it lands like a hammer. So, Mr. Patel, are you saying you lied then, or you're lying now? Boom. That's it. That's the viral moment. That's the clip every news outlet's about to replay 1,000 times. Patel's face tightens. He blinks, stammers, tries to smile through it, but it's useless. He's caught in his own words. You can hear the faint shuffle of papers, the clearing of a throat somewhere in the back, the sound of reality setting in. He mutters something about context, tries to soften the blow, but Klobuchar's silence makes it worse. She's not interrupting. She's watching him sink. The camera cuts to her face, calm, focused. You can almost read the thought behind her eyes. This is what accountability looks like. She's not performing, she's proving a point. The energy in the room shifts completely. Senators who were sitting back start leaning forward. Staffers exchange looks. You can practically hear the buzz forming in the hallways outside. Did you see that? It's the kind of moment DC lives for. The one where words become weapons, and someone just got outgunned. No yelling, no cheap shots, just one perfectly timed question that cuts deeper than any insult could. Patel's sitting there, trying to regroup, but the damage is done.
His voice drops. His sentences get shorter, quieter. That's the sound of someone realizing the fight's over, but still standing in the ring. And here's the part that makes it cinematic: the slow burn. Klobuchar lets him talk, knowing every word just digs the hole deeper. He says something vague about oversight challenges or procedural misunderstandings, but it's noise now. The impact's already landed. The camera zooms in on his face, that half second where you can see the regret flicker, the recognition that this clip's gonna haunt him for weeks. Klobuchar doesn't even need to say another word. She glances down at her notes, gives a faint nod, and moves on to the next question like nothing happened. That's the ultimate flex. Not milking the moment, not rubbing it in, just letting the silence do the work. The crowd, the panel, the cameras, they all feel it. The power dynamic in the room has completely flipped. You see a couple senators exchange small looks, half smiles like, yeah, she nailed that. Even the people who came in neutral can't deny what just happened. This isn't partisanship. This is dominance. Pure, methodical dominance. Patel tries one last time to defend himself, but the tone's changed. His voice is lower, the edge is gone. He's no longer debating. He's damage controlling. And Klobuchar? She's moved on, already prepping the next topic like she just ended a chapter and opened a new one. That's how pros operate. Deliver the kill shot, then walk away before the dust even settles. Watching it unfold feels unreal. That mix of secondhand shock and satisfaction when someone gets caught clean on record. The crowd's dead silent. But the silence isn't empty. It's loaded. That's the kind of silence that echoes louder than applause. It's the sound of everyone realizing they just witnessed the moment that'll headline every clip tonight. Patel's face says everything words can't. It's that look of a man who knows the internet is about to have a field day. Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, it's all about to blow. And the irony, Klobuchar never raised her voice once. That's what makes it lethal. She didn't need volume. She had truth, timing, and total control. And just when you think it's over, watch the room's reaction. Because that silence says everything.
Ever heard a room full of senators go dead quiet? That's how you know someone just got wrecked. The kind of silence that doesn't just fill the air, it presses down on it. No coughing, no whispering, no papers rustling. Just that heavy, awkward quiet where everyone's pretending not to make eye contact because they all know they just witnessed a public annihilation. This isn't a movie pause, it's real-time fallout, and every camera in that room is locked in on the wreckage. Klobuchar's last line still hangs in the air like smoke after an explosion. No one dares break it. Even she sits back for a second, almost like she's giving the silence time to breathe, letting the moment burn itself into the walls. Her expression doesn't change, calm, neutral, professional. But that look, that faint flicker in her eyes, it says, I know exactly what I just did. Patel's frozen. He's still sitting there, face tight, lips pressed together, pretending to read his notes, but his eyes aren't moving. He's just trying to process what the hell just happened. It's that split second after a verbal hit where the victim realizes it's over, that he can't spin it, can't dodge it, can't charm his way out of it. The facts landed, the words hit, and now he's standing in the wreckage of his own testimony. The camera cuts across the panel. Some senators are trying to keep a straight face, others are glancing down at their papers like they're suddenly the most interesting thing in the world. A staffer behind Klobuchar leans in to whisper something, but she doesn't even acknowledge it. She's still staring straight ahead, perfectly composed. You can almost hear the tension crackle in the background, that faint sound of a chair creaking, someone clearing their throat, the nervous shuffle of papers that people do when they don't know what else to do. Even the reporters sitting in the back rows are holding their breath, fingers hovering above their keyboards. Because moments like this, they don't happen often in the Senate. This isn't just another heated exchange. This is a career moment.
The kind of clip that'll loop across news networks, flood social feeds, and have pundits talking for days. You can tell everyone in that room knows it too. The silence drags on for a beat too long, and that's when you realize this isn't awkward anymore. It's powerful. That's the sound of accountability. That's the sound of someone running out of excuses. And Klobuchar lets it hang there because she knows the impact doubles when you don't rush it. You let the silence speak for you. Then slowly, Patel leans toward the mic. You can see the hesitation in every movement, the way he adjusts his tie, the way his hand trembles just a little before he touches his notes. He's about to talk, but there's no coming back from this. His voice comes out softer, lower, stripped of that earlier confidence. He's not in control anymore. He's reacting. Every word feels like he's stepping on thin ice, hoping it won't crack under him again. It's like watching someone trying to put out a fire with gasoline. The senators don't even interrupt him. They just let him talk himself into a deeper hole. Every sentence adds weight to the silence that follows. The camera catches Klobuchar's face again. She's motionless. Not smirking, not celebrating. That's what makes it lethal. She knows her job here is done. She doesn't have to win the argument. The argument already won itself. You can see the faint nod she gives before turning her attention back to her notes. It's over, and she knows it. Meanwhile, you can feel the tension spilling beyond the room. On the live stream, the chat's blowing up. Viewers clipping, tweeting, reacting in real time. Klobuchar just ended him. Patel's finished. The internet's echoing what everyone in that room already feels but can't say out loud. There's a short pause before the next senator speaks. It's procedural, calm, but the tone's different now. The energy is shifted. It's like everyone's still tiptoeing around the crater that just got left in the middle of the hearing. You can sense it in the pacing. No one's rushing to move forward. No one wants to be the first to break the spell. That's how strong that silence was. It wasn't dead air. It was dominance. Patel looks down again, flips a page that doesn't need to be flipped, forces a straight face, but the damage is already written across his expression. You can't unsee that kind of defeat. His confidence, his rhythm, his posture, all gone. It's not just about losing an argument, it's about losing the room. And in that moment, Klobuchar's composure becomes the headline. Because power doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just sits there, quiet, steady, unbothered, while the other side unravels. The contrast between them tells the whole story. Then, faintly, you hear the first noise break the silence. A cough from the back, a chair scraping the floor, maybe even a whispered, "Wow." It's small, but it's enough to remind everyone that time's moving again. The hearing goes on, but that moment lingers, like smoke after a blast. Everyone knows it'll replay in their heads later, that exact second the air disappeared and the truth hit. Because this isn't just about words anymore. It's about impact, about the way a single sentence can shift an entire room. It's the kind of silence that ends careers, fuels headlines, and turns hearings into history. But the story doesn't end there, because what came after this silence sparked a whole new firestorm. When the dust settled, the internet went nuclear. Hashtags blew up like fireworks on the 4th of July. You had cable hosts going off, Twitter spaces lighting up, TikTok edits dropping by the minute. Everyone wanted a piece of this moment. Clips of Klobuchar's takedowns spread like wildfire, looping on every political feed across America. From Capitol Hill junkies to late-night comedians, they all had the same reaction. Kash Patel just got roasted on record. But here's where it gets real. This wasn't just a viral clip, it was a full-blown reckoning. You could feel that ripple through DC, that buzz that hits when something big happens, when a soundbite turns into a headline. Within hours, pundits were dissecting every word, every pause, every raised eyebrow. And man, they were brutal. Conservative commentators called it a setup, Liberal ones called it accountability served cold. And independents? They just said he got smoked. Let's be honest, this hearing had courtroom energy from start to finish. The tension, the body language, the way Klobuchar built her case point by point, it was like watching a prosecutor dismantle a witness who ran out of alibis. Every clip, every document, every pointed question, she knew exactly where to hit. You could almost hear the imaginary gavel drop after each exchange. And Patel? He looked like a man who thought he was walking into a friendly debate and suddenly realized he was under oath. His confidence at the start? Gone. His rhythm? Gone. What was left was a man trying to regain footing in front of millions who just watched him crumble. News outlets didn't waste a second. Klobuchar silences Patel. Senate showdown goes viral. Patel stumbles under pressure. Those were just a few of the headlines plastered across every network. Even international outlets picked it up. BBC ran a short clip, Reuters wrote a breakdown, late-night hosts dropped one-liners about it before the credits rolled. It was that big. And the public reaction? Pure chaos. Hashtags like Klobuchar clash, Patel destroyed, and Senate showdown started trending within hours. People were editing side-by-side clips, reaction memes, even courtroom remixes. One TikTok clip of Klobuchar's line, "You can't rewrite the record, Mr. Patel," hit 1 million views overnight. Folks were quoting it like a movie line. But here's the thing. When you strip away the memes and sound bites, there's a deeper layer to this. This wasn't just a senator landing a viral punch. It was about accountability. About what happens when someone gets too comfortable dodging truth in a place built for facts. Klobuchar didn't yell. She didn't grandstand. She just executed. Calm, clear, surgical. If this were a trial, and let's be real, it felt like one, the verdict was already in. The jury, the American public watching from their screens, and the judgment, guilty of self-destruction. Patel's credibility took a hit that no PR statement could fix. You can rebuild an image, but you can't erase a moment like that once it's burned into the public record. Even political insiders started whispering, what does this mean for Patel's next move? Is this a career hit or just a headline bruise? Some said it's the kind of clip that follows you forever, not because of what was said, but because of what you didn't say when you had the chance. Silence, once again, spoke louder than anything. Meanwhile, Klobuchar's team stayed quiet. No flashy tweets, no victory laps, just silence. That's how you know they knew. When you land that hard, you don't need to celebrate. The footage does the talking. And that clip, it's going to live rent-free in political history reels for years to come. Back in the hearing room, as things wrapped up, you could almost sense the shift. The energy drained out of the space like everyone was still processing what they'd just seen. Cameras packed up, aides whispered, and Patel walked out looking like a man who'd been through 10 rounds without a win. And Klobuchar? She just gathered her notes, gave a polite nod, and walked off like it was just another day at work. That's what power looks like when it doesn't need to announce itself. And that's the beauty of this moment. It wasn't scripted, it wasn't planned, but it exposed the kind of real-time accountability you rarely see in politics anymore. It reminded people that under all the noise, debates, and talking points, truth still has weight. And when someone stands calm in the storm and lets the facts do the fighting, silence becomes the loudest sound in the room. By the time evening hit, the clips had already reached millions. Comment sections filled with, "She ended him," "This is what real oversight looks like," and "He never saw it coming." The internet had delivered its verdict, and it wasn't kind. If you've been following political clashes for a while, you know moments like this don't just fade, they stick. They get replayed every time that name comes up, every time another hearing hits the news cycle, and this one? It's going to be one of those moments people reference with a single sentence. Remember when Klobuchar wrecked Patel? And just when you think it's all wrapped up, hold on. Because the next name stepping into that chair, oh, that's a whole different kind of storm coming. And if you thought this was wild, wait till you see who steps in next time.